Right, let's dive straight into this high-level executive briefing on Colorado's sweeping new legislation. Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an executive, a compliance officer, or sitting on a legal team, you are in exactly the right place because we're going to unpack the brand new rules of the road for AI accountability. What we're talking about is Colorado Senate Bill 26-189. And guys, this isn't some theoretical down-the-road concept anymore. This is a direct legislative reality aimed squarely at regulating automated decision-making technology. Simply put, if your company uses algorithms to make decisions about people, whether that's hiring them, lending to them, or providing housing, this applies directly to you, and frankly, the way you do business is about to fundamentally change. So to get your compliance teams completely ready for this, we've broken the explainer down into 6 focus sections. Welcome to AI regulation, defining ADMT and consequential decisions, developers versus deployers, your compliance documentation checklist, liability, penalties and cures, and finally, key deadlines to watch. Okay, Section 1, welcome to AI regulation, the new operational reality. The absolute critical takeaway here is that the era of unregulated AI in high-stakes consumer decisions is officially over. For the past few years, the tech industry has kind of been operating in a bit of a gray area, a wild west when it comes to algorithmic decision-making. Well, this Colorado bill formally ends that era. It creates strict, highly actionable new rules requiring absolute transparency, accountability, and a ton of documentation. Let's move right into Section 2. Defining ADMT and consequential decisions. Is your business in scope? The state of Colorado uses this very specific term, ADMT, which stands for Automated Decision-Making Technology. Basically, if your software processes personal data to predict, recommend, classify, rank, or score someone, you are dealing with ADMT. And catch this phrasing, it's super important. Guide or assist a decision. Meaning, even if you have a real human sitting there in the loop, if the AI is heavily guiding that human's choice based on personal data, you are actively using ADMT under this law. But before anyone hits the panic button, let's look at the exclusions, because the law actually attempts to be highly pragmatic here. To put you all at ease about your everyday office tools, routine software, like your antivirus programs, basic calculators, email spam filters, and regular old spreadsheets without machine learning attached, those are completely excluded from these heavy regulations. So no, you definitely do not need to file a massive compliance report just because you use spell check on a client email. The crucial point to understand is that the law really only cares when ADMT is used for what it calls a consequential decision. This is literally the heart of the bill. The state isn't trying to regulate the AI that recommends what movie you should binge on a Friday night. They are regulating AI used in high-stakes domains. Getting approved for a mortgage, getting selected for a job interview, accessing healthcare, or being approved for insurance. If your algorithm materially influences those life-altering outcomes, you are entirely in scope. Moving on to Section 3. Developers versus deployers, knowing your legal role. You absolutely must identify your corporate role immediately, because developers who build the tools have entirely different legal responsibilities than the deployers who use them. If your tech team creates the algorithm, licenses it out, or substantially modifies it, you're a developer. On the flip side, if your HR department just buys that software off the shelf and uses it to screen incoming resumes, you are a deployer. And yeah, if you build it in-house and use it internally, you're legally wearing both hats. All right, Section 4, your compliance documentation checklist. Action items for the C-suite. If you are sitting in the developer seat, your checklist is all about proactive transparency. You can no longer just hand over a mysterious black box algorithm and call it a day. You have to proactively supply deployers with plain language documentation outlining the system's intended uses, its known limitations, and exactly what categories of data it was trained on. Furthermore, you literally have to provide instructions on how a human is supposed to review the AI's decisions and retain all this documentation for at least 3 years. Conversely, if you are a deployer, your checklist shifts heavily toward consumer rights. Before you even run the AI, you must give the consumer conspicuous notice. And here's the real kicker. If the AI results in an adverse outcome, like rejecting someone's loan application, you have exactly 30 days to explain the AI's role in that rejection. You also have to give the consumer a clear path to correct any inaccurate data and offer them a genuine opportunity for a real human-to-reviewed machine's decision. Next up, Section 5, Liability, Penalties, and Cures, Protecting Your Company.
This framework actually does a brilliant job of actively avoiding punishing the wrong party. Developers are shielded from liability if the deployer goes rogue and misuses the tool entirely outside of its documented instructions. On the other hand, deployers are on the hook for their own independent choices, especially if they ignore the developer's limitations. It's all based on proportional fault.
But listen up, because here is a massive warning for your legal department. You cannot simply sign away your risk. The law expressly voids any contract provision that tries to hold a party harmless for their own acts that violate anti-discrimination laws via AI. You absolutely cannot hide behind a clever indemnity clause if your algorithm is out there actively discriminating against consumers. Now, notice the safe harbor built into this enforcement process. Uniquely, this bill does not create a new private right of action, which means consumers can't suddenly launch massive class action lawsuits directly under the specific statute. Instead, it's enforced exclusively by the state attorney general, and it heavily relies on giving companies a chance to fix their mistakes first. 60 days. That is the critical, absolute legal window your company has. If the attorney general flags a violation, you have exactly 60 days to cure it, meaning you fix the documentation, update the algorithm, or notify the consumers properly before facing severe financial penalties under the Colorado Consumer Protection Act. However, and this is crucial, this cure period is a privilege. It is not an absolute right. The Attorney General is not required to offer the 60-day lifeline at all if your company commits a knowing violation or if you happen to be a repeat offender. If you willfully ignore the law, the AG goes straight to enforcement and penalties. Do not pass go. And finally, Section 6, key deadlines to watch, the runway to implementation.
The legislative clock is already ticking on this mandate. Upon passage, the Attorney General immediately gains the authority to begin the public rulemaking process, which will further define exactly what these disclosures need to look like across different business sectors. Understanding these upcoming dates is absolutely vital for your strategic planning.
Your single most important target date is January 1, 2027. That is when the Act officially goes live and applies to all consequential decisions. By that day, developer documentation must be readily available and deployer notification systems must be fully live. Then, by January 2028, the Attorney General will actually begin publicly reporting on all the enforcement actions and cure periods that occurred during that crucial first year. So, as we wrap up this explainer, the ultimate question every executive needs to be asking their legal and tech teams right this second is this: are we truly prepared for the new era of AI accountability? Because sure, January 2027 might seem kind of distant, but auditing complex algorithms and creating entire compliance documentation ecosystems from scratch takes serious time. The countdown hasn't just started, it is already ticking. Will your algorithms be your greatest asset moving forward or your largest legal liability? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.